Hey, it's Rick Kettner here. Let's discuss how to upgrade your marketing strategy for long-term growth. This is tip number 7 in my 21 marketing tips from 21 years in the field video series. Now, in tip number 1, I shared the importance of focus when it comes to marketing a new product, service, or business, and how the initial priority should be to run inexpensive tests in order to narrow the field down to one promising marketing channel. This advice intentionally flies in the face of conventional logic when it comes to the value of diversification. And that's because the most common reason why new ventures fail is due to a lack of customers. Or put differently, they fail because they're unable to establish a single effective marketing channel. And often, this is a result of early marketing efforts being spread too thin. So, while you may have heard of the saying, never put all of your eggs in one basket, the fact is, it's better to have one basket than no basket at all. But naturally, there comes a time when focusing on a single marketing channel holds us back and creates a very real risk for the business. Once we're beyond the survival stage of a new product, it's time to consider diversifying, both to minimize risk and to create long-term growth. The problem, of course, is that it can be difficult to know when or how to make this move. And in some cases, businesses completely fail to revisit or upgrade their marketing strategy. Sometimes this is because attention has shifted to a new project, but all too often, it's because the marketing team slowly fell in love with the original marketing channel. And here's why. It's faster and easier to get more value from an existing channel than to nurture a new one. New channels take time. They don't always pay off immediately, and sometimes they don't pay off at all. So naturally, teams have a strong incentive to focus on what has worked in the past. But of course, eventually, every channel reaches a point at which investing additional time or money isn't worth it. Either we exhaust its potential or rival brands enter the space and drive up the cost to acquire new customers through that channel. So, where is the balance? When should we diversify? And what is the best approach? This is rarely an easy decision. There are benefits to a focused approach, and there are, of course, benefits to a diversified approach as well. So, let's explore the merits of each, and then I'll share some thoughts on how you might choose the best option for you. Let's start with the focused approach. As I mentioned earlier, this is the best way to get started when first marketing a new product, service, or business. But beyond that stage, there are 3 things to consider if you plan to stick with it, including channel stability, untapped potential, and business objectives. Each of these factors should be carefully considered before making a final choice. First, let's look at channel stability. How confident are you in the channel itself and your team's ability to capitalize on it? History is littered with examples of companies that were built on shaky ground, and then Google, Facebook, YouTube, or some other third party changed an algorithm and the game was over. This can be devastating, so it's important to be very aware of the risk profile of your primary marketing channel. Next up is untapped potential. How easy is it for you to increase the results that you're getting from this channel? Is it just a matter of spending more time and money to scale things up? Or have you already captured most of the value already? The latter is usually true if you've stopped increasing your budget and are now focused on optimization or cost cutting. And last but not least is business objectives. For some startups or new product teams, the top priority is driving immediate cash flow to expand the team, support the product, or help raise additional capital. If this is the case, it might make sense to stay focused for a while longer because, again, it takes time and effort to nurture a new marketing channel. Now, let's consider a diversified approach. As I mentioned earlier, every channel eventually hits diminishing returns. So you're going to need to add new marketing channels if you want to continue to grow the business. And here are 3 reasons to consider doing this sooner rather than later. First, of course, is decreased risk. This one is obvious, but it's worth repeating. Relying on a single channel, no matter how safe it might seem, has its risks. Adding new marketing channels reduces this risk, or at very least, reduces the impact of the worst case scenario. Second is long-term growth. Focusing on a single marketing channel can only take you so far. No matter how much you invest or optimize, it will hit diminishing returns over time. And third is competitive advantage. I mentioned earlier that teams sometimes fall in love with existing marketing channels, and this can also happen to an entire industry. So in those cases, nurturing new channels can create a very real competitive advantage. And the great thing is that success in a new channel often impacts existing channels. For example, if people suddenly start seeing your brand on social media, they're more likely to click your ads when performing a Google search. Anyway, all of these things must be considered when making a choice between a focused or a diversified approach. But as a general suggestion, I recommend that teams make the jump as soon as revenue supports expansion of the marketing team. And here are 2 different ways to make that happen. First, you can have a single marketing team that spends 80% of their time on proven channels and 20% of their time testing new channels. Second, depending on the size of your team, you can separate the group into pioneers and optimizers. Pioneers focus on looking for new opportunities. They master things like the bullseye framework covered in Traction by Gabriel Weinberg and Justin Mares, which includes brainstorming ideas, selecting promising channels, running inexpensive tests, and ultimately determining the next channel to be pursued. Optimizers double down on what is already working. They find ways to increase results from proven marketing channels, and they innovate within those existing boundaries, either by designing new ads, creating new content, or testing slight variations on what has worked in the past. Zooming out to the bigger picture here, there is no optimal approach. It all comes down to the short and long-term goals of your business. But with that said, I hope it's been helpful to review the trade-offs between a focused and a diversified approach so that you can make the right choice for your situation. Anyway, that's it for this video. The next video in this series will cover the most overrated marketing metric of all time and alternative metrics that you should consider focusing on instead. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to get an alert when new videos in this series launch. And if you'd like a PDF cheat sheet with all 21 marketing tips, head over to 21marketingtips.com or click the link in the video description box below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.